Hello and welcome to my channel. This is my first video on the Euro 16 fantasy. Um, I'm basically taking a shot at it, and this is my team. Um, I'm gonna share with you my thought process on how I came by this team and um, why I selected some of the players that I did. Um, So, as you may know, the Euros kick off on Friday, June 10th. Today is actually Sunday, June 5th. So, um, I beg your pardon, June 6th. So, basically, we have about less than a week to the Euros. Um, So, clicking on this video, I assume that you have some sort of familiarity with the Euro fantasy system. Especially the rules and scoring system. For those of you who don't, I actually have a separate video where I cover the rules, so I encourage you to watch it because you might find it very useful. Uh, in setting up your team, and if you are interested in playing this game. Now let's go to my team. So my strategy actually for this game is I I'm looking to have a very well balanced team, especially in the group stages where there are lots of teams and you have so many players to choose from. You don't want to choose premium players, a lot of premium players at high prices, and then just end up buying some other players who are basically going to be fillers, and they might not start, or they might start but their efforts might not translate into fantasy points. You don't want to be in that boat, especially this game. It gives you the opportunity to make substitutions between match days, so you don't want a situation whereby if your premium player does not perform, you are basically left at the mercy of some defensive midfielder who or some defender who might basically concede because he's in a bad team. Um, my strategy, uh, part of my strategy is to get a player who is a definite starter, um, and then also capable of scoring a goal, except for my goalkeepers. I mean, if you look at my team, um, everybody is a goal threat. Everybody. Um, with the exception of the goalkeepers, of course. Um, my other strategy is also to prioritize players who are basically on set pieces, because this is a very short tournament. Every team, or if the team gets to make it to the final, the team basically plays uh, less than 10 games, so to speak. So, I mean, you're not gonna you're not gonna have like a lot of goals from one player. So basically, again, it's I mean, you could have premium players. I do have one or two premium players, but you don't have to skew your selection on just five players and then neglect everyone else. um So if a player is on set pieces, again, he has the most opportunities to translate his play into assists or goals. So you know those players, I rate them higher, uh, and you would also find out with every fantasy format, those players usually, they stand out with the most fantasy points. um, so let's go to my picks. Now, goalkeepers. You would find out that uh, Matis Kusak of Slovakia and Michael McGovern of Northern Ireland. Um, these are not your flashiest goalkeepers, so to speak, but I have them for a reason because you know they both cost me 9 million in total. Um, they have a potential, or they have potentials to get clean sheets here and there, maybe one in the group stages. Uh, I'm not particularly sure of the team's chances of also proceeding beyond the group stages, especially Northern Ireland, who are in uh, Group C with Germany, Poland, and Ukraine. I don't really think they're gonna progress, but the goalkeeper actually, he has a potential to get a lot of save points. Save points are just points that translate from the goalkeeper just basically making saves. Now, with the firepower of Poland and Germany, and to a lesser extent Ukraine, you would assume that he's gonna get a lot of save points, and if it goes bad too, I think he's gonna get a lot of goals in his net, and that will not be a good investment. But for 4.5, I don't really care. um, However, Northern Ireland has a very robust defense. The coach actually goes with a 3-5-2 system, I believe. So they have the potential to keep a clean sheet here and there. And like I said, they're gonna have a lot of balls going to the goalkeeper. So I just chose him. And then goalkeepers, their only source of points are clean sheets and saves. So you don't want to choose a goalkeeper from a big team, and if they don't get a clean sheet, then they might not get save points because they basically, the defense doesn't allow a lot of balls to come through, so the goalkeeper might just get about maybe 3-2 points, and you don't want that. You don't want to spend your money there, and then basically you're gonna waste it, especially in a short tournament like this. So the other goalkeeper is Matus Kusacic of Slovakia. um, Slovakia have a decent potential of keeping a clean sheet here and there. Um, I believe, you know, their defense is also not as robust as some of the uh, first class teams, so to speak. So, the goalkeeper will have some decent chances of getting me some save points. So, and then if he gets me a clean sheet in addition with the save point, hey, I'm well happy. Um, Come to my defense. Now, this is where I splurged a lot. Um, I have uh, from Germany, I have Jonas Hector. He's a definite starter. He tends to get some goals and assists at some point. You might remember him from the World Cup. Uh, he is uh, he is a really good defender. Now Germany, they've been shaky during the qualifiers. They let in they let in some goals, which were quite disappointing. But when it comes to tournaments, they usually step up their game, and I think Jonas Hector is gonna get a couple of clean sheets, and he also has a decent goal threat chance and assist threat chance. So I think he's good, even though he comes at a pricey points of 5.5, and he's only selected by 5% of people. I don't know why, but you know, a lot of people have different reasons for choosing who they choose. Uh, my second defender is Juan Fran from Spain, also selected by only 7% of people. He comes at a hefty price of 5.5. I guess a lot of people, when they choose Spanish players, they go for either Sergio Ramos or Jordi Alba, who are very decent defenders, but I don't want to spend that much for either of them. I mean, Jordi Alba in the game is 7 mil. I think he's too pricey. Uh, Even though he might return with a goal or two, I think Monfran doesn't quite have the potential to get goals as Jordi Alba, but he's in the Spanish team who are capable of going far in the tournament, and he's also capable of getting some assists, especially if you remember him from his uh, Champions League and La Liga exploits with Atletico Madrid. So he's pretty nailed in my squad. Danny Rose from England, selected by 8%, also comes at a price of 5.5. He has a decent chance of getting goals and assists. England, their defense, I don't really rate the defense, especially in tournaments. I mean, in the qualifiers, they were lucky to be drawn in a group with San Marino and some other teams. San Marino actually today were um, massacred by Croatia 10-0. So if you get a clean sheet from a team like that, it's really you can't really say that they have a very good defense. Even though against Portugal, their defense did better than expected, but I think in the tournaments they have some really good opposition who might cause them troubles. Regardless, I really like Danny Rose. Seeing him in Tottenham, he gets some assists and he gets some goals. So if he managed, he's pretty nailed in Roy Hodgson's team as well. So if he manages to get a goal or assist in addition to a clean sheet, a sneaky clean sheet, that's really good for me. So I have him there. Now, my favorite defender, Dario Srna. Oh my God. He's selected by only 3% of people. I guess it's because of his price tag. He's a wonderful defender. He's on set pieces. He's on free kicks for Croatia and corner kicks. He also blasts through the left flank and always going forward. Um, I think he has a really good chance of getting me some goals and assists. Croatia also have a really good defense, so I'm thinking there might be some clean sheets in there. Now, you realize that my defense is very heavy, I guess. This is because, when they get a clean sheet and given their goal threats as well as assist threats, you'll be looking at a double digit for a defender. Now, that is, you know, and you can see that most of my defenders are really not highly owned, so they are very much high differentials. Um, so it's really gonna help me if they perform. Dario Srna, that's my favorite player, I guess, from the Croatian team. I really have high hopes for him. Now, my other defender is Giorgio Chiellini of Italy and Juventus. Now, he's selected by 13% of people, priced at 6 mil. Italy have a decent defense. In the qualifiers, they shipped some goals against some teams like Kazakhstan, whom I wasn't expecting them to score against Italy. Regardless, Giorgio Chiellini is one of the players who he gets forward on set pieces and he has the potential to get a goal. Sometimes he gets some sneaky assists. So Um, I have him in my team so that if he gets a clean sheet or he gets a goal, that's a plus for me. He's a bit highly owned. I think he's the most highly owned of all my defenders, but I don't really care. I have a lot more um, differentials. Now we come to my midfield. As I said, my selection is really skewed to players on set pieces. There is Hakan Kahanoglu. Hope I have the name right. That's that's not really the matter. He's owned by 5% of people. Price point 7.5 mil, which I think is pretty low for his abilities um, in the Turkish team, as well as I believe he plays for Bayer Leverkusen. He's a very, very good midfielder who likes going forward a lot. He's also on set pieces for Turkey, so there is a good chance he might sneak me an assist or a goal, whichever comes. I'd really thank him. So that's Kahanoglu for you. Marek Hamsik. Now, this player, I'm surprised. I've heard a lot of talk about him on Twitter. It seems a lot of people would select him, but only 5%. That's quite surprising. Regardless, he's on set pieces for Slovakia and he's on penalties. Um, he also has a wicked right foot and likes to shoot from range, so he has a decent chance of getting high fantasy returns. That's why I selected him. And again, his price point, he could be, in my estimation, maybe 8 or 8.5. But, you know, I don't care. That gives me the chance to spend my money elsewhere. Dimitri Payet. Oh, that's he's a wonderful player. He's he's just magnificent. I like him. I like him a lot. He's on set pieces for France, but his position might be under threat from Anthony Martial. Um, but given what he has done in the friendlies leading up to the tournament and his set pieces, I'll be very surprised if Didier Deschamps drops him to the bench or doesn't use him that much. He's one of the few players in the friendly games for France who actually almost always plays 90 minutes or um, 80 minutes. So I'm pretty confident the coach really likes him and he's gonna use him. Um, he's a phenomenal player. He gets assists like um, uh, I don't want to say he gets assists like he's Pac-Man. you know, like Pac-Man picks, all those dots. That's how he gets assists. He picks them like Pac-Man. And he has also the potential to getting some goals. So you can't really go wrong with Dimitri Payet. I'm not surprised he has such high ownership, even though he might be um, he might be substituted at some points for Anthony Martial, but you know he's just too good to ignore. Um, Now I have Ivan Perisic of Croatia. He is not on set pieces. I think he's my only midfielder not on set pieces. But for him to be in my squad, you should know how highly I regard him. In the qualifiers, he got 6 goals for Croatia and 3 assists. Um, he he scores a lot of goals. Even in the friendlies, today he scored against San Marino. But you can't really judge a person's potential, as I said, against a team like San Marino. But he has the ability to go forward and get goals, get assists. He's really I feel in the Croatian team, Mandzukic actually draws players in, and an attacking midfielder like Perisic, what happens is Mandzukic just draws him into play, and he plays as a target man, and then he lays up the ball to the attacking midfielders, and Perisic just happens to be um, one of the beneficiaries of such play. He's in my team. I'm gonna keep him. Um, unless someone else convinces me of another player. Ideally, I would like a set piece taker. I was thinking of getting Jakob Blackstowski. Hopefully, I have the name right. Of Poland, because he's also on set pieces. He's on penalties and free kicks. But I'm just scared that he might be vying for the position with Lewandowski for penalties, and that might hurt him. But he's a very decent player. If I have to, bring a midfielder in for someone, then he's my top choice. Um, Now my last midfielder is Gylfi Sigurdsson of Iceland. Now the Iceland team is not the flashiest of teams, but in the qualifiers they were really good. I mean, they had some really bad teams, but they also had the Netherlands, whom they beat convincingly. Um, you would see that in the Iceland team, everything goes through Gylfi Sigurdsson. He gets assists, he gets goals, he takes corner kicks, he takes penalties, he takes free kicks, he carries their water, he does everything. So he's no brainer. If Iceland is going to do anything in this tournament, uh, a lot of it is going to run through Sigurdsson. Now, their recent friendlies have not been too convincing, but he still manages to get a goal or assist here and there. Leading up to the tournament, there was some injury scare for him, but he played the last friendly match, so he's all right. Um, if you want to select him, feel free. I rate him highly, and I think he's gonna really do well in my fantasy team. He's owned by only 4%. I guess it's because of his price point. People don't want to spend that much on someone like that from that team. But if you follow Iceland a little bit, you would see that they are one of the teams that can really cause damage. We come to strikers. Now, I have one premium striker and then two strikers that I call supporting strikers. Um, my first striker is Shane Long of Ireland and Southampton. Now, I really rate this player highly. I feel he doesn't get the credit that he deserves in Southampton. Um, he's used sparingly, but whenever he comes on, he gets goals or assists. Um, he's the main man for Ireland now. Now that Robbie Keane is not playing a lot. Um, he's also on penalties, so at the price of 6.5, that's no brainer. He's very good. He's very good. Even though the Irish team is not one of the best, and you know they might not really produce goals, a lot of goals. I feel Shillong is, he's the man to get the goals if ever Ireland gets anything from this tournament. I feel he's gonna do pretty well, and he's only 6.5. You can't really lose with that. Um, my second striker is Marco Arnautovic from Austria and also from Stoke City. Um, he's a streaky player. Sometimes he's really good. Other times he's, basically invisible. Um, like Casper the Ghost. He, but when he's on, he's on. When he's on, he can really dismantle a whole team. I remember the game against Stoke City Man City versus Stoke City and also Stoke City versus Arsenal. Last season, he was basically the one liter man for Stoke City. Now for Austria, there is Alaba, but the main man is Marco Janko. Hope I got the first name. He's the main striker, but I could have selected him. He's 7.5 mil, but I guess Anatovic is you know, good enough. And he's also on penalties. Alaba is on penalties and free kicks and all that. But I feel, he shares the duty with Anatovic. And Anatovic, he has an ego in him. So I think he might try to steal some of the penalty duties. But whatever it is, I like him and he's at a decent price. So um, I just got him. He could do some damage. And also, Austria's group is not the toughest of groups. Uh, they have Portugal, and there is also Hungary, I believe, and there is Iceland. I feel, they might get some goals here and there. So Anatovic will play a good part. So he's stuck in my team. My last striker and probably the best player in my team, or the one whom I have highest hope for to get me a lot of fantasy points, is Thomas Müller of Germany and Bayern Munich. Um, he's the ultimate tournament player. He he just turns on during tournaments. World Cup 2006. He was young at the time, but he played a really good role. Uh, Miroslav Klose got the goal king, I believe, either him or Müller, I don't remember, but Müller scored enough goals, and the following World Cup, I think he surpassed Ronaldo um, of Brazil's World Cup goal tally. And then last World Cup, he also scored a lot of goals. So I'm really counting on him. He's also on penalties for Germany. So, Germany will get some penalties, I believe. I mean, they put a lot of pressure on the opposition so much that you might make a mistake and, get someone down. And I hope he gets me a lot of fantasy points. He's owned by 34% of people. So, if he doesn't perform, I'm in the boat with 33.999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999most people. Um, so that's it for my team. Between now and the start of the tournament, I don't think I'm gonna make a lot of tweaks. However, whatever it is, I'm gonna keep you guys updated. Um, I don't see where I'm gonna make any changes. I mean, you can see that my team is well balanced, except that the only argument you might make is it doesn't have big names in the strikers. It only has one, and then also the defense is very heavy. But one mistake a lot of people do is they look at the prices of the players and then they tend to make their selections from that. But you know, I mean, the prices are there, but you have to look at the potential of the player before, and then just here is an exercise. Just select the players based on their potential, and then you see, where you're at with the budget, and then try to compromise here and there, so that you can fit your players um, into your budget and be under 100 or 100, because nobody can tell me from this team that apart from the goalkeepers, of course, None of these players is a goal threat. Nobody. Everyone is a goal threat. Everybody. So, you know, with the option of getting substitutions in between match days, I mean, I don't see how I can go wrong with this. The rest of it is just luck. Um, So feel free to leave me comments below about your team, or if you have thoughts about my team, feel free to leave comments. We can have a chit chat. Also follow me on Twitter. My Twitter name is the Kumasi Gamer. I'm gonna leave a link below. Feel free to follow me. And then I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.